I gotta love when I'm wearing the most appropriate attire for a video talking about Arrow video. It's Pokemon. Anyway, in this video I wanted to dive into Arrow video and the occasional controversies they have when it comes to releasing 4K remastered box sets. The best examples I have of this is basically like the Argento sets. But I do want to discuss, of course, the Candyman box set and the American Werewolf box set. Now, personally, I got jabbed yesterday, so like debating how much I should move my arm and whatever. I have the box set, the Blu-ray box set for Candyman. This is just the release that you get inside it. And as it is, it's a really bloody nice release. You get like all these art cards. You get a great booklet, which is full of essays, good artwork as an overall, very nice set. Even the box comes with a poster and everything. Box is somewhere up there. I've got the Candyman box down. I have the American Werewolf one, but I'll leave it up there. And they're both squashed in the very top corner. You can't really... Yeah. What's up with that? That's both of them are squashed like that. Anyway, it's a nice set. I'd never seen the film before, and it comes with a hard cardboard finish. You got another booklet as well, which is even nice. Oh, this is all storyboards. Jesus. I wanted to resell this. Why am I showing you this? You don't need to know what it looks like, but it helps. Newly commissioned artwork, original artwork. My arm doesn't hurt that much, but it hurts to some degree. So, as it goes, I've seen this film just the once. I think I've only seen the unrated US cut, and I thought the film was good. I had no grievances against it, and I thought the transfer looked really nice. And to be fair, it's the disc one is the 4K scan, which is the US R-rated version, but the UK theatrical cut, which I don't think I'll ever get. Don't know whether I'll ever watch it. If I was like a hardcore fan and really wanted to like have good variation, then maybe. But I don't really care to. But it's nice to have both versions. It's a really nice set. Do I need a 4K UHD? I don't personally think so. Maybe for something like American Werewolf in London, a lot of nighttime shots and all that jazz. I mean, to be fair, a lot of dark shots in Candyman as well. And in all fairness, personally, I prefer American Werewolf as a film. And so, of course, when they announced that they were doing that as a 4K remaster, I'm like, no, as a 4K remaster, a 4K UHD from the 4K remaster, which they'd done the year beforehand. Yeah, so there's a lot of specific details. There's like, okay, first off, what is the base of this video? So, Arrow Video have started doing 4K UHD discs. Not exactly a new thing, they've been doing it for the past 2 years. There are films that have definitely warranted a 4K UHD scan and a 4K UHD release. For example, the most iconic ones from the Arrow Video line being True Romance, Dune, and that Django one. They were films that I don't believe they had previous releases of, or they didn't have hardly any release of prior to the fact. So, in all fairness, to bring that to the best possible, hey, look at this shit, look how cool it is, and yes, good. They have the Dario Argento releases on 4K. Deep Red, Phenomena, Bird of the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails. Now, there's a huge difference between the pack that you get in 4K for Deep Red versus the pack that you get in 4K for Candyman. Now, the main problem, unfortunately, which is what most people are bickering about, which, in all fairness, I kind of agree with, to a degree, is that the artwork for Candyman and American Werewolf in London are the exact same artwork releases prior. Argento ones are not. A lot of people... There's some delineations. I want to be completely clear with my opinions on it. I like what they did with the Argento releases, where you have the original limited edition releases, then they release a standalone release of just the standard casing, which is just a clear acrylic case, alternate artwork like regular, and you can flip it over, and basically 1 or 2 discs depending on the kind of film. Usually there might be, if you're lucky, a booklet or some art cards, but for the most part it's basically pretty barren. And that's what I had for every single one of my Argento releases. But I figured last year they had a sale and I bought all the 4Ks, and then Phenomena just came out, so I figured I'd buy that one too, even though I hadn't even seen it until like, I think late December of last year, when I was really debating if I wanted to order it, and then I watched it, I'm like, yeah, this could work with UHD, you know, fuck it. And I still haven't watched any of the UHDs, to be fair, so I don't really know, and I'm not really commenting on the transfers, because it's kind of a different picture as well, because it's, a lot of people have argued that the transfers looked better on the Blu-ray releases or on a different Blu-ray release, but that's kind of to each their own. I don't really want to get into that kind of an argument because that's not the point of this video. This video is basically the aesthetics, the beauty shots, the look of the packaging, and reselling the same packaging versus selling new packaging. Unfortunately, there's too many complexities that my head is kind of in a rush, so I'm going to try and I'll focus on the Argento releases to start off with. Firstly, I never was able to get my hands on any of the original Argento releases. They came out 2016, 2017 period, maybe even 2015, when maybe they were just standard HD releases or they were 4K remasters, it depends. But I didn't get my hands on any of those releases. Am I disappointed in that? Somewhat. But at the same time, longevity-wise as to where we are now, I don't personally mind. I got the standard releases, it allowed me to appreciate the 4K scans as it was, with just the basic disc art and everything, and it looked fine. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all of those films. I enjoy most of these films, hence to the point I've put them all in a collection on my shelf. And then you get to the 4K UHDs. They announced the 4K UHDs. I'm like, fuck yeah, that sounds great. And then they're like, you know, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't watched all these films. I don't need to get them all on 4K UHD. And I watched them, and the transfers that I see, they look great. You know, Deep Red looks great. Cat o' Nine Tails looks great. They all look great on their 4K scans. Do I really need a UHD disc? So I wait a bit, and the limited edition sets don't sell out. Now, there's no steelbook alternatives like they sometimes do, but it's just limited edition releases. And then they basically get to the point at the end of last year, in December of 2021, when it's like, hey, now we're going to release standard editions. And I'm looking at it thinking, I could get the standard editions, but it was like $10 more to get the limited edition releases, and they were on sale, basically, like, at least reduced price. And I'm looking at them all, I'm like, I could get, you know, Deep Red, Cat o' Nine Tails, and the Bird of the Crystal Plumage for like $100 for the 3 of them limited edition sets. And that was like, in my mind, that's a good price. It's 3 films, you get the complete limited edition, you get the big ass booklet, you get the posters, you get the art cards, you get the case, you get the film. Deep Red was a good bonus. It was a bit more expensive, but it came with 2 discs, because it came with 2 different cuts of the film, much like Phenomena comes with 3 different cuts of the film, which that one was also one I was debating, because I'm like, fuck, which version do I prefer? And I went with the standard Phenomena version. I didn't get the Creepers version, because I didn't want to, and I did not get any of the original artwork versions. I will note, I forgot about this, and I realized it in the edit. This is the original version of Phenomena. I didn't actually get the newly commissioned artwork, which again, image on screen, you know, I preferred this artwork. I didn't actually care for any of the original artwork for any of the other 3 releases, not to mention the fact that, like, I think Deep Red was the only one I actually liked, but for the most part I was happy to not get them, because they don't actually all match anyway, all the original, like, they've all got their own coloured boxes as well. I think Bird of the Crystal Plumage has like a cream box or something, so like a yellowy style, but yeah, I went with this one instead. I just figured it worked better. I think there was a Creepers release individual. I can't remember. It's not available anymore as it is. But this does have, obviously, the Creepers poster. And yeah, so I just wanted to add that in, just as a little side note. So, you know, a good variation, at least. I'm happy with the versions I got. If it helps... Well, I mean, I guess reality-wise, you know, you look at this, that's not the, you know, it's clearly not the other version. Of course, it does come with reversible art, but the reversible art is the same art I had on my previous release, which is not something I'm hugely big on, but I actually kind of... I mean, it's not a bad shot. I kind of like the black aesthetic that goes with the black of the case and everything. So, I don't mind the artwork. Obviously, I think that the artwork for Phenomena kind of pulls it off better. I think Phenomena had artwork that matched this in style, but I went with this one because I really like this poster, and I really like the reversible artwork that they provided with it, something I didn't know what it was going to look like. What am I trying to get at? I like what they did for the Argento sets, personally. Mostly because I wanted to get the 4K UHDs anyway, and sure, I could have just gotten the standard editions, which would have come with that artwork that you see there. But I wanted to get the box sets so I could have the extra stuff, because a lot of people complained as well, saying, oh, but the booklet and the poster or the art cards, they're all the same. It's like, well, yeah. You know, sure, if you were someone who bought the original limited edition set, you'd be looking at this and like, but I have all this stuff already. It just comes with a UHD disc and, you know, maybe different artwork. And to that degree, yeah, it's totally fine. You know, the booklet's the same, just different artworks or different binding. And the art cards basically look the same, just a different poster on the back. And that's perfectly fine, you know. Like, I could see that as a reason that if I had the original limited edition set, like I have with Candyman, I'd be like, I don't want to get this same artwork and this same set, but just with a 4K UHD disc. And that's where I'm kind of on board with it. Because, at least with the Argento sets, they changed the artwork, so at least if you were a new collector, if you like that artwork, good for you. There you go, you get the 4K artwork, you get this whole new looking version of the set. It's basically the same as the original limited edition set, it just comes with a 4K UHD disc and alternate artwork. Which, personally, I like. I guess they were like, hey, we know we've got enough, you know, Argento fans, so we'll have an original artwork edition, so at least people will be like, fuck yeah, I want to get the original artwork edition, because at least that's more limited, and it looks maybe cooler. Depends if you like the original artwork or not. I am a toss-up. I don't really mind. A lot of the artwork at the time, not great. Variable, but fine. I don't mind the kind of more minimalist look that this goes for. It's fine. I think it looks nice. It's not too crazy, but there's a lot of those original Arrow releases where they will have like artwork on it that you like. It'll have theatrical artwork, and then like the newly commissioned one will just be like a collage. Like the other Deep Red one was just like this woman screaming with glass breaking, all these creatures and stuff, and it's basically like a highlight reel of what's iconic imagery in the film, and I personally don't like that. I still have those editions, but I'm not a big fan of those. It's just messy, and I think it's to try and make it sell more, because it's like, oh, that looks cool, that one monkey on the screen there, I'll buy it because of that. I don't know what the fuck they're getting at. They did the same thing for Suspiria, for the Synapse releases. I didn't like it. I've just gone with the original artwork, but that's also one of those things, mate. That's an original art piece that I really, really like, and that most people like. So, that's a to each their own. So then we get into, obviously, Candyman and American Werewolf in London, where the artwork for the 4K UHD pieces, and mind you, this release for Candyman, despite me getting the limited edition release, this came out in 2018. This set came out in 2018. I was able to get the limited edition set in 2018. I think I probably bought it in 2018. Whereas I bought in maybe 2020 the American Werewolf in London set. It was either 2020 or 2021. I'm pretty sure it was 2020. Nevertheless, come 2021, 2022 period, hey, look at this 4K of Candyman. Hey, look at this 4K of American Werewolf in London. A lot of people are like, cool, but also, what? Because it's like, it's not... It's the same artwork. They're releasing the exact same artwork. That's the thing where most people were like, that's too far. Like, they could understand being like, I don't want to buy the limited edition set again because I already have the limited edition set, but I do want to get it on 4K, so I'll wait for the standard release, which most people are so... Oh, I guess these are all mostly Facebook comments and stuff I look at, but God, they know how to yell at Arrow. Like, no, I don't want the limited edition set. I already got the limited edition. It's like, just wait a few more months. But I think it's also because when these were initially released, a lot of the time you could buy the limited edition set or the standard edition set at the same time. You didn't have to wait 6 extra months for the standard release. That's what Arrow do these days. They wait an extra 6 months or whatever for you to get the standard release, which I personally find to be kind of dodgy. They want you to very much so buy the standard, the deluxe edition or the limited edition release, which is, for some sets, will sell out. Like True Romance sold out, but they also released that. Do you know what they released that with? Various different versions. Newly commissioned big box artwork with a steelbook by itself, standard 4K by itself, 4K in limited edition pack, same as Dune. The amount of different versions that they've had for both of those two films is insane. But then American Werewolf in London and Candyman, here's a 4K disc in the same set that you've already gotten. And most people, like myself, are like, why would I bother? I already have it. I just want to get the 4K UHD disc, if I even want to. Like, Candyman, I don't really think I care to get the 4K UHD disc. I wouldn't mind it, But something like American Werewolf in London, that's a film that I really, really adore. And, I grew up with that on DVD. I had never seen a Blu-ray release until I got the Arrow video version, much like The Thing. Except that one I had seen a Blu-ray edition. Anyway, a good native 4K scan, good shit. And in all fairness, it looks great. I don't really think I want a 4K UHD. I know Turbine and other German releases had the UHD before the British release, before the Arrow video release, but at the same time, I wasn't personally really fussed about it. I'm content with what I have, It's also a deal of how much money am I willing to spend on all these films. Of course, I could have saved, 30, 40, 50 bucks by not buying all of the limited edition releases of all the Argento 4Ks, but I decided to go ahead and buy them all because I didn't have the limited edition. I didn't have any of those, essays and stuff. Maybe they had some of those essays to some degree in the basic standard releases, but for the most part, I didn't have that. And I've benefited because Deep Red and Phenomena both came with 2 discs, which came with 2 to 3 different cuts of the film, which personally, sure, I might not ever watch the other 2 editions or the other cuts of the film. I might just stick with the longest version possible. But maybe I just want to treat myself. Hey, fuck it, I've got 90 minutes. Let's watch the 87-minute long cut of this film, instead of the hour and 20. Hour and 20? 120-minute cut. So, yeah, obviously I've kind of thwarted myself by buying a very specific version of Phenomena that isn't the newly commissioned artwork, which I believe the newly commissioned artwork is like a zoomed up version of her, but it's just like the whole cover, much like the Deep Red is, so it's like that, imagine her there, and it's all purple instead. To be fair, it probably would look great on the shelf, but I really like that original Phenomena artwork, so I went with that version. I guess there wasn't much variation with, basically, Kevin Iron Tales or Deep Red and Bird of Crystal Plumage, outside of either you get the new artwork or you get the original artwork. So that's fair enough. I didn't want to get those. I think it was a bit more expensive. But they were also really limited into specific areas, specific distributors and stuff, and I didn't really care to get them all. I didn't even care to get the 4Ks to begin with. And then I watched them all last year and I'm like, I could go with a UHD, sure. And so hence in December when they were on sale. Fuck yeah. Benefited me more that way. But the only other reason I bring this up is because RoboCop has gotten its 4K release, and I have only got the standard MGM release. It's the 4K remaster of the film on Blu-ray, which is fine. I think it's just the director's cut, and so Arrow Video was like, hey, here's the steelbook and the collector's edition 4K releases. It's the 4K scans, but they're now 4K UHDs. And a lot of people that's really cool because, that's a great film to bring out in 4K. But a lot of people, again, complain because they didn't bring out new artwork. They brought out the exact same artwork for both the steelbook and the 4K collector's set. And personally, I was like, this is my moment. This is what I've been waiting for. Like, I wanted to get the collector set and the steelbook. Now I can get both, and they're 4K UHD. Now, mind you, I cancelled the order for the steelbook because, as of today, I still don't have a lot of money, and I'm like, I have to like buy Adobe products again, which is great. So I figured I'd just stick with the collector set because at least the collector set gives me everything that I want. Like, I still really like the artwork. I like the new artwork, which again is still not new artwork. It's like 3 to 4 years old now, and I like that it comes with the original of reversible sleeves. I like the posters. I like just everything about it. The steelbook is fine. I'd like to get it, but I'm happy to live without it. And realistically, if it hasn't sold out yet, I think it's going to take a while for it to sell out, and it might be reduced quite incredibly. Like, it might be like $30 in like 2 to 3 months, and it might be really a perfect time to buy it. So I'm betting on that, but if I don't get it, then I don't get it, and I don't mind. So, yeah. As an overall, what do you guys think? I know that people can be very picky about it, and I do understand, like, because a lot of people can, when Arrow does their new announcers every month, like, people can go fucking insane for some of the stuff that they release, or they're like, what the fuck, why would I want Wild Things on 4K, with a deluxe 4K steelbook set, or a deluxe standard edition set, or a standard edition set, or a standard steelbook set? Why would I want that? And I ordered the steelbook deluxe edition set because I want it. I like the artwork. I've never seen the film, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like a lot of people go crazy for this shit, and sometimes it just depends on the retailer. Maybe they couldn't afford to, you know, hire someone to make newly commissioned artwork. Maybe they thought it was best to just reuse the same artwork. Maybe they just, I don't know if they bought the artwork or if they have to pay the person again. I don't know what the fuck they have to do, really. I don't know how that kind of commission works. But yeah, I think it's fine. Like, to some degree, with someone like myself who hasn't been collecting as long as a lot of other people have, it's fine to see the Candyman, American Werewolf, and even the RoboCop releases being re-released in 4K UHD, but with new artwork. And to some degree, there's also the argument of why doesn't it come with a Blu-ray disc, you know? I know that Arrow is really good at porting over all the special features onto one disc, or maybe having a 2-disc set, one with special features, which they don't really do. They usually just have it all on a 100 GB disc, like Crash, which I got recently. I didn't get the collector's edition set of this. I don't even know if there was one, but this was the 4K UHD 1-disc set, but it comes with like all of that in terms of special features. The amount of stuff that's on this one disc is insane. And I bought it because why not? But yeah, it comes down to that where I can understand it. I can understand the grievances of wanting to buy something new, but it's like got the same artwork that you already have. Then it's like, shit, do I sell the other version? But then the other version is the only Blu-ray I have. So yes, and this comes from someone who owns multiple copies of the thing, from Steelbook to 4K collector's sets to standard Blu-rays to alternate Steelbook sets, so I know what it's like to collect different artworks, even if it's the same disc with the same special features. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all for now. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.